Hey, it's Matthew here. I'm listening to the most uplifting of recordings today. Back up in the gallery and going through the old LP collection here and hoping to share with you just a few pieces from the collection that I think are really worth bringing to your attention. Every time I listen to a recording by this man, Julian Bream, I think this is my favourite recording by Bream every time. And right now, I'm feeling that about this recording. It's so uplifting, it's such good music making. It's Bream playing Lute Concertos with the Monterverdi Orchestra conducted by John Eliot Gardiner. And it's gorgeous. I mean, some of the other players are just incredible. Marlon Sampson on cello, Robert Spencer on cicerone, Nicholas Kramer on harpsichord. So there's really wonderful musicians in the band. It's recorded in 1975, and the locations for the recording are interesting. Barking Town Hall in London and Roslyn Hill Chapel in London. So you've got space there for the orchestra, the band, to get together with Bream and make that right sound, and conducted in the way it would be by John Eliot Gardiner. The taste, the sound and balance is great. We've got recorders here in this Handel concerto, so strings and recorder, so you get that atmospheric, at times almost eerie wind sound, and then you get this vital and direct soloistic lute playing that's just great. I mean, we're used to hearing the lute in this Baroque repertoire as a continuo, as a texture within an ensemble. Here it is, right out in front. Now there's dialogue going on here. These are concertos for two lutes. You can hear the character being exchanged between those two solo lines. Bream is playing both parts. It's not Julian Bream and a colleague playing these concertos. Bream overdubbed one of the lute lines, which is a feat in itself. This recording is made in 1975, so that's by tape. We're not recording digitally on Pro Tools or something like that now. Bream's playing over that other recording and then responding and reacting to the things he's done. Whether it was the first lute part or the second lute part he recorded first, I don't know. But he would be responding to either of them when he's making that overdub. And that's a challenging feat, and it's time consuming in that time to make that kind of recording. There's a really interesting video on YouTube of Bream doing this with video, where he plays two parts of a duet with himself, and he exchanges facial expressions across between himself. It's really bonkers, but it's a lot of fun, and it goes to the creativity of his producers and engineers, and also himself for giving these ideas a go. Part of Bream's direct and vibrant sound on the lute, why it suits this soloistic concerto playing, is that he used some nail when he played lute, which is not common at all. Lutenists wouldn't really have used nail. Certainly not in the way guitarists now do. Early guitarists didn't use nail either. But we've cultivated the sound, we've broadened the sound out. There's a lot of colour that the nail offers you. There's a very direct clarity to the sound. I mean, imagine the registration or the orchestration in some big symphonic music, and then suddenly you hear a triangle cut right through the texture of all the strings and the brass and the woodwind, and that sound just cuts through. A lute with nails or a guitar with nails has that quality where you can have this singing tone suspended above that texture. It's not part of that texture as a lute in a continual format would be. It's actually sitting above it. This is really gorgeous playing. Really stunning. If you're interested in the lute, if you're getting into playing the lute, there are a huge amount of sources and references now online to discover things about it. This is still, for me, the album that made me think, wow, I want to have a go at that instrument, I want to get into it. It's so full of good taste, of colour, of character, and great sounds. Great tonal and timbral palette from this amazing lute. I mean, it's a David Rubio modern copy of an early 17th century lute. So it's made by a luthier who was building guitars and also, of course, building lutes. And it's a modern copy, and it just sings. It's absolutely fantastic. and just carries the melodic lines above the Monteverdi Orchestra so well. So, I strongly encourage you to try and find a copy of this. Maybe it's available on streaming services, I really hope it is. Julian Bream, Lute Concertos with orchestra, incredible. And the man playing both parts in the double Lute Concertos himself, what a feat and what a feast for the ears. Enjoy.